Hey guys, and welcome back. I'm Rachel O'Leary, and today I want to talk to you about algae. Now, I think in order to have a discussion about what's going on in this aquarium, we have to sort of understand a little bit more about algae. Now, what is it? The word algae is sort of a comprehensive term for a whole lot of different organisms, which can range from unicellular, like green water, to thread like hair algae, to macro-sized like seaweeds and kelps. Algae are quite literally everywhere and absolutely vital for the formation of oxygen on Earth, but are often considered quite a pest in the home aquarium. So what causes algae? To oversimplify, basically something being out of whack or out of balance in your tank causes algae. It can be that your tank is overstocked. It can be that you haven't been keeping up with your maintenance or missed a water change. It can be that you have too much light or the wrong kind of light, the wrong kind of fertilization, too much fertilization, too little fertilization, the wrong fertilization, or a lack of CO2. Any of these things can prevent the intentional plants within our aquariums from outcompeting the algae so that it is less visible within our aquariums. Sometimes even simple changes to the temperature from seasonal fluctuation or simple changes to our tap water could cause a potential algae outbreak. Now, there are many, 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 many kinds of algae, some more irritating to aquarists than others, and rarely is there a cookie cutter way to fix it. Trying to figure out what type or family of algae we're dealing with can be a helpful way to figure out where to start to control or modify what's happening within our aquariums to get a handle on the algae in our tanks. I think a lot of people are really tempted to leap to chemicals or quick fixes, but the reality of this is that it rarely addresses the underlying issue and therefore is a short-term solution, as the algae often ends up coming back. Using some of these chemicals can also have some pretty scary and potentially fatal repercussions, especially since algae produces a lot of oxygen. If you kill it all rapidly, this can lead to some oxygen depletion within the aquarium, and that is definitely one of the most significant concerns. So if you would happen to use any of those products, it's really important to keep a close eye on your aquarium in the days following. So what's going on in this tank? This tank has hair algae. I think it's pretty obvious that it has hair algae. You can see that the glass is relatively clear. And oddly enough, the plants are almost not affected at all. This hair algae is super short, super brushy, and coating only the areas of hardscape, some of the substrate, and my botanicals. Hair algae, this type at least, generally belongs to the genus Odogonium. And as you can see, they create a densely packed and short, tufty carpet-like growth. And this is where my secret confession comes in. I have to tell you guys, I like it. Now, that being said, I have done a few things over the past 9 months to try and get a handle on this algae. I've tried a week-long blackout, meaning I covered the tank completely and kept no light, didn't peek at all, and honestly, this algae didn't budge. I tried interrupting my light cycle. I tried shortening my light cycle. This aquarium utilizes a nutrient-rich substrate, and it doesn't have a whole lot of fast-growing plants. So one of the other things that I've done is I added that big clump of pennywort up at the top, I guess about a month ago, to try and utilize some of the excess nutrients that have to be within my water column in this aquarium that is feeding this algae. Now, this aquarium does get a 50% or 30 to 50% water change every week. It does not utilize CO2, and I don't utilize any additional fertilizers. And that right there is probably why I am seeing this sort of growth. But that being said, the plant health itself is really not bad. And I don't know, I think it's kind of fascinating. You guys know over the years, I've had a lot of aquariums with some really weird algae, most notably my big boys tank that had that full carpet of black beard algae. And I have to tell you, I don't think it's all bad. You know, as we look around this aquarium, you can see that the fish are exceptionally healthy. Everybody's in really good condition. The shrimp are doing great. The chili rasboros, the little red fish, look absolutely amazing. And I'm starting to see for the first time the males of the wild bettas in this aquarium, the betta imbelis. You can see 2 of them right here, and then there's 4 females. And all of a sudden, in the past couple weeks, everybody is all fired up in full breeding dress. So, you know, I'm really not too concerned, and really think I'm pretty unwilling to rock the boat in this aquarium for the fish. Now, clearly this aquarium is this is not a typical expression of this algae. The fact that the plants are totally fine and it's just the botanicals and hardscape is really kind of unique. And I have to tell you, I very much like the overall effect. Now, it's also possible that the great amount of botanicals that I have in this aquarium, combined with the nutrient-rich substrate, is what is feeding this algae. You know, I could try peroxide treatments as well to get rid of the algae. The Amano shrimp seem to be keeping it to a nice lawn-like appearance. So I think I'm just going to continue to wait and see and watch. And as long as my plants are continuing to grow and the fish are so obviously healthy, I think I'm probably just going to embrace my algae. And I have to tell you guys, I don't think that there's anything wrong with that. I know that the vast majority of folks do not want visible algae in their aquariums, but another good example of where I grow it on purpose is my 150-gallon Asian Hillstream aquarium. For that aquarium, it's absolutely vital to have a good algae growth to feed the species that I'm housing in it. Now, that is certainly not the case in this aquarium. But again, I don't see it causing any detriment to the actual aquarium or the inhabitants, and I kind of like how it looks. So I'm going to embrace my algae, enjoy my algae, and just share with you guys if it disappears, what changed, and document the whole process, as this particular short tufty algae is not one that I've had to deal with before in the past. As always, I'd like to hear from you guys. What are your opinions on algae? Do you think it's all bad? Do you think some of it is really beautiful? I mean, I guess at the end of the day, in my mind, algae is, you know, when you read the actual definition, it's defined as a simple, non-flowering and typically aquatic plant of a large group that includes seaweeds and many single-celled forms. Algae contain chlorophyll but lack true stems, root leaves, and vascular tissue. And while they're not, you know, one of our desirable aquatic plants, I do particularly like the color, and I particularly like how this one looks. And since they are oxygenic phototrophs, meaning they use light as their energy source and produce oxygen as their byproduct, I don't think they're of any detriment in this scenario. Again, there's all types of algae, and your mileage will definitely vary, but I would love to hear from you guys down in the comments. Now we're just going to enjoy watching this aquarium, and make sure you're subscribed, please, with that notification bell on so you don't miss any updates to this aquarium, as well as many, many other things around the fish room.